Let me just dial back, Shashi, to your point about television, of course, and linear TV and CTV. Now, of course, everybody has been calling time and death on linear TV for a while. What is your outlook? And especially again, when you compare it to, of course, digital, but also CTV now.
I am a big believer that content will survive. Linear TV will go. I'll tell you why I believe linear TV is, because TV in India is very cheap, correct? Yes, at this point in time, CTV is also virtually given a fee. There's no, data costs are not there for a variety of reasons. But what I said, we have allowed top-end homes. CTV has grown at the expense of top-end homes. And top-end homes we have allowed at BARC. We are to blame, the measurement agency is to blame for not measuring those audiences. As a result, people not doing content from them. If tomorrow I can measure properly, which is what the whole plan is with this set meter which I spoke about, that if you can measure quality homes, for example, someone buying a 10 lakh plus car, why would he want to spend on a mass serial? Because he says, I don't, we don't watch that. So I think if we can get that going, if you allow measurement, then content people, they're smart. They're making out content for OTT. See, bulk of the, forget the Netflix and Amazon Primes of the world, but bulk of the OTT players are people who also do TV content. They understand content, whether it's for linear TV or whether it's for OTT or CTV, whatever. So I think they will find content for that. Don't forget, even today, HD homes in India are more than CTV homes. It may change, but today there are probably 70 million, 60 million SD homes. By these numbers, no one knows the numbers, because only BARC does the baseline. The numbers thrown. CTV homes would be 35 million or so, rough estimate. So HD homes are, if you provide content for those homes, so you provide measurement, because finally television is an advertising business. It's not advertising revenue. Advertising is bought on the basis of ratings. If you are not measuring those homes, why will someone create content for them? Which is the lacuna. So if we start measuring those homes, you will find. So I genuinely believe there's a lot of juice. My favorite line: there's a lot of juice left in linear TV, stroke, whatever premium homes watch, that is what they will watch. Yeah.
While we're on content, Shashi, let me also ask you then about, what's the kind of programming that's working today, especially against the backdrop of elections. News genre, for instance, what kind of growth are you seeing there? What are you expecting? Give me your take.
So, television is seen as a women audience, I mean, from women audiences. And therefore, the rest of them are passive. So the women watch particular kind of series, which is why you see the soaps, and that's where the belly of television is, the heart of television is. But there are a lot of product categories. You see all your gaming, you see all your auto, where I'm not saying women don't have a role, but men have a larger role. And which is where today a lot of people, clients believe, whatever the data they say intuitively, the two things which work is sports, live sports and news. Yeah. So in spite of the fact news ratings may not show, because again news ratings are not when you cut across. Minute you do that segment which I am talking about, the top end segment, you suddenly see news coming up. So I believe intuitively most clients are savvy. They know your ratings is a means to decision making, they are not the end. They say, listen, if this is what it is, so be it live sports, the original question you asked me, IPL and new elections. Live sports and news, that's where the heart of it is. So I think for a large segment of brands, audiences matter are those audiences. So there's a huge potential and they'll never go away. See, a genre of serial or genre of content in the general entertainment space may change. Yeah, movies will not change, news will not change. You're always watching news, and a year like this, live sports will not change. It's a global phenomena. You'll find these things never change. Because it's not only is the elections, post-elections, government formation, then how does the new government work? What are the things? So it's going to be a long runway. It's going to be anyone who buys into these three genres. I mean, I'm keeping movies aside because movies also depend a lot on the title releases. But sports, there is IPL now, World Cup after that. So there's sports, live sports and news will always be the pillars and tentpoles for many brands.
And it's all lined up really well.
Yes.
I had a conversation recently with Ajay Dang of Ultratech Cement, and he said something very interesting. They don't want to be just advertisers, they want to be part of a conversation, driving that conversation around the development agenda. Give me a little bit of insight into what advertisers are thinking this election season from your conversation. I mean, of course, all your agencies have some of the biggest advertisers, work with some of the biggest advertisers, plan their media, their buying. What is the advertiser thinking right now?
So I think today, unfortunately, there's no right way to measure it, but therefore I'm going to use a loose term called engagement. Yeah, but a lot of clients are saying, and we have done many, and we have done with you. You know, I go back to the time we did, you know, for Racket, for Harpic, we did the Mission Pani. So many advertisers are turning around and saying, listen, we want a lot more. So how do we use, you know, the standard line, the medium is a message. So how do we use the medium? It's not just advertising. Advertising, people realize, is paid. So what do we do to engage? And there can't be anyone more powerful than the media itself, and news. So for example, the elections, a lot of fun. We work with a lot of auto brands. So with electric coming in today, how is it that electric gains, you know, how safety feature. So many advertisers are looking at that. Obviously, it requires a certain maturity because these command premiums, because there is that much more effort required from the broadcaster side to develop these. But we, for one, as an organization, and I'm sure other agencies also, believe that there is a value to this engagement. You see my client Amul. So, you know, the regular buys they do are very less. They do a lot of stuff which is outside this. Or I can name many clients, and not only mine, many clients across. So I think the future is going to be here, and it will always come around live stuff. So sports will come once in a while. News will remain live all through. News can also take up causes. News also gives a counter to, you know, all what you talk of the news that, you know, it's become, the, should I say, seismic in a particular way. So this is the way to building the, and especially your network. And I'm not saying it because I'm sitting with you, but your network is positioned that way, that there is a fair degree of, you know, there are many projects we have worked together, and you've seen it, you know, under the broad CSR thing. It's not really CSR. Actually is helping the brand grow, because the viewer sees it, listen, there's some more value being added, and there's a positivity. That's why I used the loose term, you know, there of engagement, but there is a positivity which gets added, and you'll see more and more brands as time goes by coming on news.
So recently, of course, P&G's global chief brand officer spoke about in-housing, and P&G has in-housed media buying in 2 of its largest markets, the US and China. They also went as far as to say that they've had some 10% savings on media because of in-housing, and of course the advantages of sales attribution and everything that comes with it. Tell me from your point of view, Shashi, is in-housing a threat? Because we are seeing that happening here more on the creative side. A few months ago, for instance, Godrej, again, very large advertiser, completely in-housed its creative advertising, built an agency in-house essentially. And so have a lot of the startups. They have massive teams, internal teams. What is the scene on the media side of the business? Is it a threat?
So I wouldn't call it a threat. It's a reality. I tell you why I don't think it's a threat. So firstly, let me see where there is a possibility of in-housing. See, in this whole digital performance side, you know, as you use the word attribution, it's iterative in nature. So they build in teams. A lot of people are loath to share data, because, you know, performance means you're getting first party data, you're getting people who are consuming, and large, I mean, we work with Amazon will never, or, you know, many other clients don't want to share their first party data easily, because that's proprietary. So, you know, they bring it in, they build a learning curve, and the learning curve can only come when they're doing it in-house, you know. So I see that as a possibility in the long run. However, I also see it's a cycle. You know, these things, if you look at 5 years, 7 years, people take it in, then they see there's a diminishing returns, you know. And I explain to you why diminishing returns, because people get very into tunnel vision. See, the advantage agencies have, you're working across 100 clients, and you have different mindsets, different styles, different products, different state of evolution, different TGs. So everything is different. So you can, you know, a tremendous amount of cross-category learning. So I've seen the example you gave of Indian startups. I will not name a client of mine used to do in-housing on programmatic, on performance, then would give it out, then bring it back, then give it out, you know. So this cycle went on for 3-4 times. Yeah. So I think, so 1 year, 2 year, yes. So definitely in the short run, on the programmatic side, on the performance side, you will see, for data confidentiality reasons, many reasons, they will be in-housing. It doesn't bother me, because finally, what is, if the raison d'etre of agencies are not clear, they deserve to be shot on the foot. But if it's very clear that there is something we bring to the table, you know, we are bringing, maybe a client has better expertise, they pay more to the talent, but we bring cross-category learnings, cross-functional learnings. You know, how will TV interplay with digital, how will print play with and in India, TV print will be there for a long time to come. So what is the role of print with digital? What is the role of print with performance? What is the role of print with first party data? It has a role. You talked about activation. So I think these are cycles people will go through. The savings which you alluded to, primarily in the digital area, because the digital, there is no third party measurement, there is a lot of filth which happens,
Yes.
pardon my saying so.
Yes.
So that is table stakes. Once third party comes in properly, you know, then all that will get sorted out. Like TV, everything got sorted out because TV is third party measurement. You go digital, still don't have third party measurement. So my sense is, yes, in-housing is a threat, undoubtedly. Finally, you have to stand up for something, and it's good because it forces us to think, what do we stand up? We are not just volume. Today, when I stand up and see my team presenting, we are the second largest network in the country. Scale means something. That's not good enough. You know, that's not
Right.
the right thing to say. So what is the quality which you bring to the table? If you have something to say that, listen, I have across these 7 clients, like talking to you, I have given you 5 examples. So that itself is a big, so yes, it is a threat, especially in the digital performance area. But I'm not sure whether someone who can counter it will counter it. Someone who stands up only for pricing will suffer.
Well said. Well, that's a great note to end our conversation on, Shashi. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you very
so
much for having over. Really loved this.